So here you have the principle of a treasury, but you also have the principle of stewardship. So as a congregation gives, members give back, they are considering the amount and the purpose behind their giving. And I want to stress this for a moment. What is under consideration here is not so much the mode of how we give. Now, congregations over the last 3 years, pretty much since COVID, have faced a lot of criticism over online giving. And I think that's kind of odd in a way, because for generations, at least in this country, brethren have had no problem in contributing funds to the local church through a check. Now, maybe some of you, as I look around the audience, maybe some of you were around when checks were a new thing. It's been around as long as I've been alive. And the point is I don't think there were any brotherhood controversies over whether checks were scriptural. And many of you today will leave your check in the black box inside the entryway as you leave, or maybe you put it in when you came in. Now, I want you to think for a moment. I want you to think this through. When will the church actually receive those funds? If you wrote a check, when is the church actually going to receive those funds? Not today. The bank is closed. And so the church will receive those funds when the treasurer remembers to go to the bank. So if the brother or sister who objects to online giving because it is not done on Sunday wants to be consistent, then he or she needs to quit contributing by check and only contribute cash. I want to just talk about this for a moment, because did you know that the process of receiving funds through online giving is actually faster and safer and more accurate than any other way? And when you make that online gift, you actually can, as with our system, tell it to process your gift on Sunday, if that's a concern for you. And did you know this? When online giving happens, that giving goes up by an average of 30%. And the reason for this is simple. No one hardly carries any cash anymore. And anyone in this room under the age of 50 hasn't written a check probably in the last 10 years. So I want to stress this. The wrangling over the mode of giving is not what Paul is dealing with in this passage. In 1 Corinthians 16, Paul is not dealing with the mechanics of how we give, i.e. cash, check, or online gift. He is establishing the principle of stewardship. The other thing I think we learn out of this is this: giving is between you and the Lord. So, over the last 3 or 4 years, there's been criticism of this congregation because we have our online giving on the front page of our website. And someone says, well, aren't you soliciting funds from everyone and not just members? And I would say this: I think it's a judgment matter, and really it's up there practically for ease of use. And I would say this: it's certainly not a practice that's sinful, and it is certainly not digression to have a giving button prominently displayed. Giving is between you and the Lord. Worship is an intensely personal activity, and we are not the judge of who should be allowed to participate. And I want you to think about it in this way. What's been the long-standing practice of our worship? If a non-member comes into this assembly and wants to partake of the Lord's Supper, do we refuse them? Well, the answer is no. We don't refuse them. And so if a non-member walks into our assembly and wants to contribute in the giving, that's something that they feel is a good work, do we refuse them? No. Don't put your check in a plate. I've never seen a congregation do that. We've always accepted those offerings. And so, sometimes I wonder, why do we need to make the disclaimer during the giving portion of our assembly that non-members don't have to give? If they want to give, let them. Encourage them.